You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA. Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. My name is Simon Javan Okelo, and I am in Seattle, Washington. I'm from Kisumu, Kenya originally, and have a beautiful African proverb for you that is going to be the center of our conversation today. We are live streaming on YouTube here right now, but we are also live streaming on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a social audio platform where we also have an incredible audience. That's where the Daily African Proverbs started from. And today's proverb is all the way from Madagascar, and it says that whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. Whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. This is an incredible African proverb that is full of wisdom, and it's also one of the most popular, African proverbs. Just one more time for the sake of those who are joining us right now. The proverb today is from Madagascar, and it says, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. So I hope you've all been doing great, and I hope you all had a nice holiday weekend. This Monday was the 4th of July, so there was a national holiday here in the US. I'm actually live streaming from Seattle, Washington, and this is the first live stream and session of the Daily African Proverbs after a few days of not being here with all of you. I want to welcome Simply E. Simply E, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing great as well. I was just saying how the last few days, many people have been off regular routine. Those who go to work had some time to be with family and reflect. But there were also a lot of disasters that happened across the US and across the world. So this proverb that we are discussing today is kind of going to help ground us as we begin our day today, and hopefully by the end of our conversation we will all have something that uplifts us as we start our day, at least today. So hopefully it's going to be a little better, but I want to give you a chance simply to just share with our listeners and also our viewers what Wednesdays typically are like, and also how they can support our conversation today. Today we have no guest that is joining me on YouTube. Typically Wednesdays we have Chioma Sheri, who is an incredible poet that joins us and shares a poem based on the inspiration from the proverb that we are discussing. That happens every Wednesday. But I want simply to just share with you a little more and help you understand how you can, help us make today be a great conversation.
And as you could hear, so Simon is live on YouTube. So if you wanted to see his face, want to see him live, you can go over to that space. I think I can't say enough about the fact that I think it's so awesome that wherever you're comfortable tuning in from, you can. So if you're comfortable on YouTube, you can watch right there. If you say, hey, I want to add to the space, you can come right into Clubhouse. If you're in the space right now from Clubhouse and you want to speak and add to the space and you're down below, you can raise your hand. We can pull you up so that you can give your insight and give a little bit of feedback into the space. And one of the things that I like most about this space is that it's one of those places where if you like what's going on, you want to invite other people. And so just do that. If there's some people that would enjoy the space as well, like you, and you want to have them in the space so that you both can enjoy and maybe speak perhaps afterwards, or just enhance some of the things that you're doing, because this space does enhance my life, then it's a great idea to just bring tribe, bring friends, bring people that have views that could contribute to other people's lives. In the mornings, typically there's a post in the morning if you want to get an early start. To see what's going on in the space or what's coming, you can go to the IG page where Simon posts the 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 proverb for the day. And then also there's Twitter tweets where you can share the space as well. So it's just awesome that wherever you're comfortable landing, you can do that. You can give feedback. You can just sit there and enjoy and listen in. And if you're joining the YouTube channel later on, if you hear us tomorrow, it's a good thing to actually join and follow there as well. If you're that way, you don't miss anything that's coming in the next day, Monday through Friday. Again, I'm very happy to be a part of this space, to be a part of this experience. And Simon, thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you again, Simply E, for your continued support every Wednesday. And, welcome Arlene and Gaza and Mag. Feel free to join us on stage. So as I shared earlier, the proverb we are discussing is from Madagascar. It says, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. And as I was saying, this is an incredible African proverb that is full of wisdom, really. But these are the 3 takeaways that my team and I prepared earlier before this session started. So I'll share them, and then we will begin just listening to what Simply E has to say about this proverb and any comments that she has about, the 3 takeaways that I'm going to share. Then we'll go to Debbie and Brother. I want to welcome Katie to the room. Feel free to join us on the stage as well. Thank you so much. So these are the 3 takeaways for this episode, this conversation. Kindness and compassion are important because they make the world a better place. Imagine if with every action we took, we just thought of whether we were being kind to whoever we were dealing with or whatever situation we were faced with. I think everything would just be a little better for everyone, including ourselves. And then the second one is kindness and compassion can change someone's day for the better. I see this so much with my daughters, and sometimes little actions elicit a really deep level of appreciation from them, in a way that it makes you even more kinder and more compassionate. Because the more you practice kindness and compassion, and the more you treat people well, people also treat you well. So the second one is, kindness and compassion can change someone's day for the better. Sometime you're at work, sometime you are even at the gym, and someone just says something little to you that is kind towards what you're doing. Sometime you are really working on a project and the results that you're receiving are not what you desire, and you have a colleague in your team that, shares with you just a few kind words of how much they see you trying. It helps you not to give up. So the third one here is we should all try to be kind and compassionate to each other. I think for me, that's a reminder, for myself that, according to this proverb, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. So if you don't make an effort to be kind and compassionate to each other, to some part of your body, then you are going to feel it. So it's a warning. This proverb is a warning that really, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. So it's your choice. And I could go on and on and on because I'm also reminded about, environmental degradation when you think about this proverb, and how even though the developed world pollutes the most, the people who are paying the price are, the countries in Africa primarily, So I want to get us started with those few thoughts. If you're just joining us, this is the Daily African Proverbs, and today we are discussing a proverb from Madagascar that says, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. And we are going to learn and gain African wisdom by the end of our conversation. I want to invite you simply, because Wednesdays is a poetry kind of day. If you have a poem that aligns with this, please share with us. And I'll invite you, David, to think of a poem too, because both of you are poets. But at the same time, share with us what you think your interpretation for this proverb is. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll definitely look to see if I have a piece that'll be, I would love to do that, to share. Um, Importance of kindness and compassion. So I'll go with that first. Um, that is important. I mean, being kind and compassionate doesn't cost you anything. And it actually, the thing about it is, yeah, you're lightening somebody else's day and you're making it bright for them. But do you know that the endorphins that happen in your body start to jump up as well when you're kind and compassionate? So not only are you enhancing the other person's life, but you're enhancing your own. And that frequency does something to the health of your body. And so it's just a beautiful reciprocation of energy. When you're able to put out something nice and make other people feel well, then it comes back your way. And you never know, you may have a bad day one day, but you put something out so sweet and nice a week ago to somebody, and they see you down, of course they're going to respond. So it could be very well the same energy that you gave a week ago. You're getting it back when you need it. So I think that's a good way to look at the kindness and compassion, because you could just as well be impacting yourself in so many ways. Um, Now, when it comes to the proverb, um, I don't have it before me, but I think it's, that whichever hand is cut, it impacts the entire body. And it may not happen right then, right? It could happen down the line, the wear and tear from adjusting from something that's gone, that's been working, right? Because when you think about the hands, that's a major part of our daily regimen, right? The hands lead. The hands do a lot of stuff for us. And if we're missing one of those, the other one's going to definitely be overworked. But then think about what all you got to do now to adjust to take up for that hand that's gone. So you may not, say somebody just wants to say, oh, it's just in hand, it's just gone, whatever. Eventually they're going to feel it in the other parts of their body that now have to work. And I think that you can take that with life, and say, no matter what it is, if something's gone, something else has to take up the bulk of that, and it has to take on other things that it may not be necessarily ready to take on or used to taking on. So I think this is a really good one. It's makes you think about other things. And with that being said, I'll land my plane there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And this, as you are speaking, I read the proverb one more time, and I'll just read it for the sake of those who are just joining us. This is a Madagascar proverb. It says, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. And I love how you shared with us that, whatever energy you give out is the same energy you're going to get back at some point, whether it's the same day, whether it's in a week, whether it's in a year, you're eventually going to get it back. So sometime, it requires patience. And I think we should be careful not to get into the habit of being kind and compassion, so that we can get kindness and compassion back. Because if we do that, then we will struggle, because we expect something back. But when you just do it so that you feel good in that moment, I think it's more healing for you, and more healing for whoever you are sending it to. And also, when you receive it, it's a beautiful surprise. It's a beautiful surprise about what's possible. So thank you again, Simply E. Debbie, how are you doing today, and where are you joining us from? And what are your perspectives on the proverb?
Good morning. My name is Debbie Berlin, Game Dev Debbie, joining from Maryland near DC. And I appreciate talking about kindness. And so if there was a request for poetry, I just wrote a poem. Love the dark parts. Kindness reaches and touches the heart. If you have a wound, be gentle, help it heal. For our broken parts, give a soft touch and feel. We are all in this world. We are one. We are all in this world. Every woman, every man, every boy, every girl. So let us be kind to ourselves and others. See each face as a sister, as a brother. Lead with our heart, think with our mind, and whatever may be kind.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Take a minute and share with us, your perspectives on the proverb. But before you do that, I want to just invite Simply E to give you feedback and just respond to your beautiful poem.
Yeah, it was beautiful, Debbie. It I like the fact that it was live, right? You're saying you just wrote that?
I usually do when the
Oh,
proverb comes up. If I'm inspired to do poetry, spoken word, or rap, I usually, from the conversation, feel inspired to put together some lyrics and words.
wow. Wow, I think that's beautiful. How much you pulled out of that right on the spot. And it was powerful. And so, yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, deep thoughts on so quickly. I love it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Simply. And thank you, Debbie, for sharing with us such a beautiful poem. If you are just joining us for the first time, this is the African Father in America Club on Clubhouse, and also the African Father in America podcast across all podcasting platforms, and also on YouTube. We're actually live streaming on YouTube right now, and we do this Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This Monday and Tuesday, we were, just taking time off. It was a long weekend holiday here in the US, where I am, currently, doing this recording from. So again, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel. It means a lot. The support is truly appreciated. And thank you to all of you who are also engaging with this content, the proverbs that we're sharing every day on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We just deeply appreciate it. Now we want to continue on with the conversation. I want to invite our next guest here, Brother. Brother, where are you joining us from? And what are your perspectives on today's proverb from Madagascar? Oh, brother, hold on. We are supposed to go to Debbie. Forgive me, Debbie. Debbie, carry on and just share more of your perspectives in regards to this proverb. I don't think we've given you that opportunity yet. Thank you.
Oh, you definitely have. I certainly appreciate it. I expounded on what your perspective was on kindness. But yes, we are all connected. And so if the hand is cut, the rest of the body will feel the pain. And that is a symbolism for all of humanity, when there are people committing crimes and acting out childhood trauma and just basically doing the best they can with what they didn't have, because they may not have had the nurturing, loving environment that some of us are blessed to have. In childhood, you're just kind of given the hand that's dealt to you, and everybody just tries to play their hand the best they can. And so, I think responding to folks that may not have had what we have in our childhood, loving, nurturing environment, with the eyes and perspective of compassion, right? Because we are all one, humans and earthlings, everything. So, if somebody is hurting and you touch a wound, they like a dog, right? A dog, you touch a dog's wound, it's going to bite. And so I think seeing seeing each other, our dark parts and our own soul and our own body and our own brothers and sisters and earthlings, with compassion and trying to extend levels of empathy can go a long way. And I do appreciate, Simon, that the balm and the healing ointment of that is kindness. It does go so far to plant seeds and to heal broken parts. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate your words of wisdom. Let's go to Brother. Brother, how are you? And where are you joining us from? And what are your perspectives on today's proverb?
Peace and love, family. This is Brother Herb. I'm calling from the North Carolina territory. And again, thank you, Simon, for the platform and, being so diligent. And, peace and love to all the family who shares their wisdom. But when I hear the proverb, it's two things that it makes me think of. In the holy covenant that we have in Morris America, the opening line says, "Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck." Meaning that we are all children of the Father God, and Mother Earth, her breast is all the blessings that we're birth or that's given to us from Mother Earth. Being that we are, related in that sense, it also makes me think of a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where he says, "An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." That's the cut to the body. It says, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutiny, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects, what it says, directly affects all of us." And a lot of times, or one may feel that, if one of us isn't free, none of us are free. We are one family, and we must understand that we must rise together. And for example, if someone feel like they didn't reach the level of financial freedom like a NFL player or a basketball player, the same injustices that happen to all of us, on a daily basis, can happen to a family member. So until we are really to a place where we understand that we in this struggle together, and the only way we can overcome the struggle together, like you said, Simon, we must be able to express compassion to one another for us to find ways to unify past a lot of the childhood traumas and the Willie Lynch syndromes and things of that nature that's been embedded in us as a people. But I just think it's very important that we understand, um, you know where just like where one injustice is everywhere, and we have to look at the bigger picture and not focus on our selfish selves. I come in love and I leave in pieces, Brother Earth.
Thank you so much, Brother Arth. I deeply appreciate that. Especially when you speak about, how interconnected we are and how we complete each other. It's really important to lead with compassion. And also, as you're speaking, I was thinking about, compassion for yourself and being kind to yourself. I am interested in learning from you all. Later on, towards the end of our conversation, we'll do one more round so that we hear from each person just one more time. But think about, maybe an example or two about how you can be more kind and compassionate to yourself. But for now, we will focus on what this proverb says. The proverb from Madagascar that is the center of our conversation. Whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. Let's go to Lavender. How are you? Where are you joining us from? And, share with us your perspectives on this proverb.
Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone. I'm Lavender. I'm speaking from Kenya. Sorry, I'm on the road, so I'll just listening in. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Lavender. Travel safely. Travel safely. Stella, how are you doing today? We'll come to you. Before we come to you, I just want to encourage everyone who is on Clubhouse or watching on YouTube right now, take a minute and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that when we are live and bringing the African Father in America, podcast live and direct like this, you can catch us. Remember, we do this Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I want Stella to tell us what time it is in Kenya too. That way you can know what time it is in East Africa. If you're in a different time zone, also let us know what 6 a.m. is in your time zone, because I want to just make that a little more known. But really, I'm grateful, and I really appreciate you all taking the time to be here with us. And if you want to be more involved in helping make these sessions possible, let me know in the DM on Instagram. I'm grateful. Stella, share with us where you're joining us from and also what today's proverb means to you. Thanks a lot.
Hi, Simon. Thank you. I'm Stella. I'm joining from Kenya, and it's 4:29 p.m. East African time over here, and it's a sunny day. Yes, so it's good to see everyone. And today's proverb, which is talking about cut fingers and the connections. And it just reminds me of when I started practicing in the health sector. And at that time, I can say HIV, there was still a lot of stigma. And you would find that some people would default from follow-ups and would stop coming to the hospital and would stop taking their medication and stuff like that. So as a team, we would not let them just go away like that. So we formed something called multidisciplinary team, and it's still done, by the way. So in that team, you have someone who goes like door to door to follow up this person and bring them back. Then you have a clinician who will see them when they come back. You have a nutritionist who will talk to them about eating healthy and things like that, and the importance of eating well while taking medication. And then you have someone who will make sure that they'll keep taking their drugs. Then you have someone who will make sure that their lab works are done. So yes, we are all connected, and it's really not good to leave someone when they are in trouble, hoping that that trouble cannot get to you because it's not happening to you at the moment. So today's proverb is just reminding us of how we should always be there for one another, and the value it brings to people around us, and how it makes our lives better and strengthens our communities. So thank you, and happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm also happy that you're here, Stella. I deeply appreciate, how you shared with us how, especially in the health sector, how this proverb applies, and also how you all tackled the supporting your patients, and bringing a team together that really gave them the support that they need. And when you think about self-care or being kind and compassion to yourself, there's a lot that you said that applies to that, and I'm really curious to see what you all have to say later on when we get to that part of the conversation. Uriel, how are you doing today? Thank you for joining us. Share with us where you're joining us from, and let us know your perspectives on this proverb as well. If you're in a different time zone, that is different from East Africa or the Pacific Northwest, also let us know. Thank you so much.
Peace, peace, gratitude, and highest heart love, Simon. Wow. What a beautiful, beautiful room as usual. African father in America. I appreciate this topic and everything that everyone was saying. Especially when it comes to kindness. It's one of the main values that I really I can like say out of everything that there is. That's one of the things I value the highest is kindness. And so when I think of this proverb, I think of the body. Our skin is what only about 10 pounds of our actual body weight. Yeah, and you look at the skin, you have the dermis, the epidermis, and then the hypodermis. Once something goes through the hypodermis, it's been punctured, wherever it is. So this sends a signal to our nervous system, which means that we are a closed organism. We are all one, working together. And so one part of us get hurt, the whole body feels the pain. It's just brilliant. And I love that because it's showing us as a part of the universe, as a part of the earth organism. And we learn this with being a parent. If someone hurts our child, we want to have to deal with it. We want to correct it. We want to change the trajectory of why they are feeling hurt, and we do the same thing with anyone close to us. So that's what this proverb really means to me. It's about, like you were saying earlier, showing compassion for other people, because you never know what someone else is going through, but they are a part in some way, a reflection of so the way we carry ourselves shows if we are in pain or not. And sometimes the pain can be hidden. It could be in our head. And when someone is on the outside, they can't tell what type of maybe mental pain someone might be having. It's very easy for us to see if someone is limping, their hip is hurt or their knee, and so we can't see the same when someone is having emotional pain and loss. They might just lash out. And so that's why it's important to have that compassion, for the times and moments that we go through, because, pain is just momentary. So I love this topic. His heart loves Simon. Peace to the room.
Yeah, peace to you too. It's difficult to stop listening to you, and the music that you're playing in the background just completes the feeling of being a part of this conversation today. We are having a conversation around the importance of kindness and compassion, and our time together today is being guided by a Madagascar proverb. It says, whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. Whichever hand is cut, the whole body feels the pain. If you're watching this on YouTube, share in the comments what this proverb means to you, and also let us know where you are joining us from. We are also live on Clubhouse, where we have a very incredible, group of people who are sharing with us their perspectives on this proverb. We started our session by sharing 3 takeaways from this conversation. So if you missed that, you should listen to this conversation from the beginning as a replay here on Clubhouse or on all other podcasting platforms. You'll be able to catch it as well as on YouTube. For now, we are beginning to start our second session, the second segment, which is special. We don't do this every time that we have the daily African Proverbs. I am just bringing a few more people in onto the stage. But the question now I have for you all on stage, starting with you, Simply E, what are some tips, maybe 3, maybe 1, maybe 2, that you can give someone who is listening or watching our conversation around being kind and compassionate to ourselves?
Being kind and compassionate to ourselves. So, I mean, I think one of the things that we can do is to not take ourselves so seriously, right? I mean, we have so many responsibilities, but laugh at yourself, right? I think that's tip 1. Laugh at yourself when you do something that's funny or do something that's a whoopsie or something like that. Laugh. Just be light with yourself, and then be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. If you make a mistake, don't keep just, going in on yourself about it. Learn from your mistake and move forward. You don't want to keep harping on something that you made a mistake on, especially if you've learned your lesson. Just move forward. And then I think also, I think a good way to be kind to yourself is to tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror. I love you. I accept you. You're good enough. You're fine. You're more than enough. Saying those affirmations in the mirror is so. The weight of the world can come off your shoulders in just that moment, and not just saying it, but meaning it. When you look at yourself, I did that on my birthday. I said, "You're enough. I accept you." And I started wearing my hair a little differently on that day as well. So yeah, and it was a hairstyle that not everybody approves of, but I approved of it, and so it was okay. So yeah, I think I'm coming from more of a lighthearted perspective and just being kind to yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I just want to say hello to a couple of people on YouTube. One is Masha Mutisi, who is an incredible Zimbabwean sister who is also here in Seattle, Washington. And Masha, made great comments on YouTube. You should all check it out. I won't read it. And we also have the Goddess, who has also joined us on YouTube, and a couple of other people. If you're there, make sure you're commenting so that I can just ensure that I give you a shout out. For now, we will continue on to you, Debbie. What are your perspectives? Maybe 3 tips in regards to, being kind and compassion to ourselves. 1 is okay too.
Yes, I just want to co-sign on what Simply E said with self-love and those affirmations. The way we speak to ourselves is the way we speak to others. And as I said before, every interaction we have is a reflection of how we are treating ourselves. And that kindness that we extend to ourselves will naturally extend to others. Being gentle with our faults, being gentle with our weaknesses, because we all have them. We have our strengths and we have our weaknesses, and we don't have to beat ourselves up about it or belittle ourselves, even in the sacredness of our own mind, right? Where it all begins. And what Simply E said about that positive self-talk in the mirror, 100%. Looking your own self in your own 2 eyes and facing yourself with love and kindness and compassion and doing that self-work. We often talk about shadow work on this chat, and that kind of loving the dark parts of ourselves and the shadow parts with love, compassion, and kindness, it will naturally extend to others. It naturally, because then you'll be kindness, you'll be love. You don't have to try and think how to be kind. You will exude it, right? So I 100% agree. Thank you so much.
Yes, I agree as well. Thank you, Debbie. Let's hear from you, brother. What are your tips to all the brothers who are listening and watching our conversation today? How do you think, the brothers who are watching and listening can be more kind and compassionate to themselves?
Um, that's a good question, Simon. And let me say this for myself. Um, by I'm being a giver, that's my nature. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I could be an over giver, which some people call a people pleaser. And I've been learning and working on, uh, trying to be or do everything for everybody else, I limit what I can do to and for myself. So understanding that, I have to the same energy I'm willing to put on anybody else, I have to put on myself, and I, have to set healthy boundaries and not allow myself to be burnt out trying to live up to somebody else's expectation or doing what somebody else expect. It's more so about what makes me feel whole, what makes me feel complete, and that's what I've been working on and focusing on as of late, to be more compassionate for myself, to set healthy boundaries and be able to make sure I have the same energy I'm putting on to anyone or anything else, I can put that to myself as well. Peace and love.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Lavender, I would love to hear your perspectives, but if you're still on the road, it's okay. We will go to Stella. Just let me know, please. Thank you so much.
Hello, hi Simon, hi everyone. Thank you again. I'm still moving around, so I'll still be listening in. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. Now, if you're just joining us, thank you for taking your time to join us for the African Father in America podcast. We are on Clubhouse in the African Father in America Club. So please follow the club so that you can be a part of this incredible community that we are building. If you haven't followed my YouTube channel, the link is at the top of the room. Please join me there, and also subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can notify you when we are live again tomorrow. We do this Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we can't do it without you. Now, every Wednesday, we normally have a poetry-inspired session where we have Chioma Sheri is always our special guest on Wednesdays. Today she's not with us, but we were lucky to have Debbie, who is another poet, and Simply E, who is another poet, just hold the space and share some incredible pieces with us. We haven't heard from Simply E, but we had a little from Debbie. But I want to say that Wednesdays is also when we release the newsletter for One Vibe. So if you're interested in staying in the know in regards to the daily African proverbs, we will be sharing the blogs. We create blogs out of every episode, out of every conversation that we have. We write blogs. We are actually looking for additional writers. So if you want to listen to these episodes and come up with your own articles around them, we would love that. Connect with Stella if you're interested. And then, just let me know if you want to subscribe to our newsletter. The best way to do that is to go to my Instagram page. My link tree has the link to the newsletter, and you can literally just get there and subscribe, and you'll be able to read our latest newsletter today. Through that, you'll also be able to learn about Madagascar Festival that we are producing for the 8th year in a row. The consistency you see here with the daily African proverbs is also the same consistency we are applying to Madagascar Festival, and it's going to be incredible. If you can make it to Seattle, it's August 13th and 14th. Now I'll move on to you, Stella. Share with us your tips, when it comes to being kind and compassionate to yourself.
Thank you, Simon. For me, self-love is really something that is deep and a very dear topic to me, because I've always struggled with self-love since, I think, for the past like 20 years. But one thing that I've always stuck to is I always tell myself to try not to lose my head. And some of the ways I've always tried to do that is I talk to myself a lot, uh, especially in the morning when I wake up. I look at myself in the mirror and smile. And another thing that I do when I'm in a very, very difficult situation is I tend to smile a lot because it kind of gives me strength. So for me, the big things that I do for myself for self love is smiling a lot and talking to myself and listening to myself. And then from there, that's when I can maybe share with someone else, or if it's a happy moment, if it's a sad moment. Yeah. And another thing I believe about self love is that it's very important, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love others. And even in the Bible, we are told to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So I think it's very important for all of us to have self love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stella. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate, I heard someone else mention the importance of just looking at yourself in the mirror. I think it was Simply E, and you just said it as well. And talking to yourself, yesterday I was carrying a child that is less than 1 year old, just a few months. It's been a while. Well, it's been 3 years since we had a little baby. And I was just talking to this baby, I was talking to them in Luo, in my mother tongue. And this is not even an African child, but this child was just smiling and trying to talk back. So if you can talk to yourself the way you can talk to, a little child that just enjoys anything you're saying, for me, I always motivate myself. Sometime, that moment yesterday just reminded me so much about, of course, what Stella said, but also how I always motivate myself. And I think it's really, really important. And also to find that moment, whether it's at the mirror, whether it's while you're in your garden, that moment where you can actually have a genuine conversation with yourself, so that when you're in trouble, you acknowledge it and say, man, this is a difficult situation. But with that smile, as Stella was saying, I'm going to overcome it. So beautiful. Uriel, let's hear from you, your tips in regards to how we can be more kind and compassionate to ourselves.
Peace, yes. Wonderful, wonderful share, Stella. Gratitude and highest heart love. Simply E as well, Debbie, everyone. Just really wonderful. I look at it as real life, and that means staying in the present. So one of the major things I do in staying present is breathing to my body. It's also a natural way to heal ourselves, is breathing to every part of our body. So I begin with laying down on my back and just spreading my arms out, legs out, and I begin in diaphragmatically breathing in through nose and literally just start scanning my body. And so, as I'm slowly breathing, I'm relaxing and I'm becoming present. And if there's some place that needs to be attended to or not, and once we come into the present, it's just a quick way I do a check. That's one way. And so then if I do feel anything, aches or pains, I go to the pressures of it and I breathe to it and extend it. So it becomes expansive. As well as, applying pressure to the pressure points. If you breathe to it, you relieve that pressure point. So that's one of the major things I do. Consistently, and take long walks. I love to take walks because on walks you get to slow time down and see what's around you. You get to really interact with your environment. When you're going fast, you can't see things. For instance, if you are jogging, you might miss the $20 or $10 that I've just picked up on yesterday, But if I'm walking, I can sit there and, oh, wow, look against the curb, So it's interacting with your environment and saying hi and putting out that energy, smiling, so things like that. You put that energy out in the environment. As we were talking about earlier, it's going to be reflected back to you. So that would be the second thing. And one of the final and last things, I love that they both talked about the mirror work, also known as shadow love work. That that's something I always do every day. Is I wake up and I give thanks and I look myself in the mirror and I tell myself, now it's like 20 something times, but I tell myself I love myself, and as well as write, getting some writing utensils and sitting down, and that's something I commonly do. Grab a color, a certain color, that whatever color I want, and begin writing and write a poem, or write down some things that you want to attain, or some goals and some steps, anything, but just writing, keeping that dexterity there. So, hi, it's Heart Love. I love this so much. Thank you, Simon.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Thank you again for your incredible words of wisdom. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is the Daily African Proverbs. We share amazing African proverbs with the hopes that by the end of our conversation, we all gain a bit of African wisdom, and we just feel a little uplifted as we face the rest of our day or evening. Right now, I want to invite Mr. Oscar to Mr. O to just share just one tip in regards to how you show kindness and compassion to yourself. Just briefly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. Always a pleasure to be here and soak in the words of wisdom that permeates your rooms. For me, in a word, patience. I've learned how to slow down. I'm sure we all know the Swahili proverb, haraka haraka haina baraka, mwenda pole hajikwai. I've learned to let go of the things that I have no control over, and trust that it will all work out for good. And just take things easy. So that has been very good to me, and I encourage everyone to, I remember one of my late uncles, a bishop, he told me that, when you rush, you're only rushing to your grave. And those words have stuck with me ever since. So thank you so much, Simon, for that opportunity.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you again for sharing with us your perspectives and your words of wisdom as well in regards to why haraka haina baraka, why we should not rush through things and through life. We want to come to you, Jeff. Share with us also just one tip in regards to how you can be kind and more compassionate to yourself, and how we can learn from you and your ideas around this topic.
Thank you, Simon, and greetings to everyone in the room. Well, one thing that I do to be kind to myself is I take care of the tempo that God has given me, and every now and then I'll treat myself to something sweet that I like. That's one thing I do. Pass the mic back to you, Simon.
I love that so much. I've been making a list of things that I wanted to buy for a while. I'm always very conservative when it comes to spending money on things, not people. And so last night I bought myself a new, jumping rope and a couple of things, a new microphone for my nyatiti, my traditional music instrument. If you're watching or if you're seeing my profile picture on Clubhouse, that instrument is really, really complicated to mic. So I finally, researched through some friends and found a really, good mic for it. So what you said, Jeff, I did it yesterday and I felt good, because it's been a while since I got myself something, something I really like. So I appreciate that. You've all really taught me so much today, and we've had a really educational 1 hour. And if you're just joining us, you didn't miss anything. All of this is recorded for the African Father in America podcast, which is available on all podcasting platforms, from iTunes to Amazon Podcasts to, Pandora and Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can catch it everywhere, really. And also on YouTube. We are live right now. And, this community has been growing. If you go to YouTube, you'll see that we are almost at 3,000 subscribers. So if you want to help, help with supporting this growth, you can subscribe right now. You can also go to my Instagram profile. Through my link tree, you'll be able to subscribe to our newsletter. We have new blogs, and our blog is called Raise Your Consciousness blog, So you should read some of those articles and let us know what you think, We want you to be more involved with this work that we're doing here, because really we can't do it on our own. So with that, we've come to the tail end of our time together today. Tomorrow we are going to be here again at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. East African time. But simply, I want to give you a moment. How did we do today, and what are your closing remarks?
Oh, I think we did well today. Simon, I especially like the fact that you had us to think about how we're kind to ourselves. And I think, too, it gave me an opportunity to think about how I can be more kind to myself and more often. So I really want to thank you for that. And I think everybody on stage who had reflections and remarks, I think it was so, I just like the fact that everybody brought something, right? There were different perspectives. A lot of us kind of felt synonymous. We had the same voice, but everybody brought a little something extra to it. And I think that was absolutely beautiful. Earlier, you asked me about a poem, and I was able to find one about compassion. So if you'll allow me, I can share that right before we close.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
The name of this piece is called Her Name Was Taiwan. Her name was Taiwan, and she sat next to me in class. Snaggletooth's smiles were like reflections in a looking glass. We mimicked each other's drawings and passed no judgment on coloring outside the lines. We held hands on the playground, skipping while dust covered our penny loafers. Dresses forming umbrellas in the wind. We signaled each other behind the oak tree to avoid large bullies. A safe haven, a place to meet, a peaceful place. We pushed each other on swings and shared snacks, foods of which we had no clue how to pronounce. We styled each other's hair during recess, in silence, in curiosity, in wonderment. We wondered when we should call our hairdressings pigtails or ponytails, cornrows or braids. Her name was Taiwan, and she sat next to me in class. We sat next to each other in class, at lunchtime, but not on the bus. And when the bell rang, ring, 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 and when the bell rang, our daily commute forced one world to become two. We learned a different kind of math, and I want to learn how to one day unlearn it. Selah.
Wow, that one was really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate that. I deeply appreciate that. That's a beautiful moment for us to wrap up our time together today. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube and also on Clubhouse. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.